I'm Christine from Pack Hacker. In this video, we're taking a look at the Pacsafe Citysafe CX anti-theft backpack, which I've been testing for about 3 weeks. Let's jump in. So this version of the Citysafe is part of Pacsafe's Econo line, which is made of recycled materials. It's a 320D exterior recycled material, and it's a little shiny. Dirt brushes off of it really well. Pet hair brushes off of it really well. It's very sturdy. The interior is also a recycled lining, and together, they make it's really sturdy bag. You don't feel like you're gonna rip anything or have problems with tears, I would think, anytime soon. Now, part of that is also because of all of the security features with the Pacsafe, which include this exo mesh slash guard. It's this stainless steel wire that they build in between the exterior fabric and the interior lining. You can feel it in this front pocket. If you push them together, you can kind of feel some of the wires, but in the rest of the body, the fabric, you can't really feel it. You do not feel it when you're wearing it, so it's no big deal, but it's definitely an extra security feature if you are concerned with people trying to slash your bag and get into your belongings. This bag has a lot of those security features, so we're going to be going through them one at a time, because in order to be able to show you the interior of the bag, you're gonna see how many different locking mechanisms and whatnot there are. It would slow a thief down. It would also make it obvious, I would think, if somebody is trying to break into your bag. Maybe a passerby would see and tell you if you had it sitting off. You definitely feel it on your shoulder. So it could be handy if this is what you're looking for. So it has 2 carry handles, which are very comfortable. It's actually sometimes, I think, with the fact that this is a smaller bag, it's only a 17-liter bag. It's not very long. And now, granted, my arms aren't very long, but I'm not very tall. So if I was taller, I'd have longer arms, and this still wouldn't be an issue. But you can carry this really comfortably just by the carry handles. Because of its capacity, because it's only 17 liters, you can't load it up too much, so it doesn't get too heavy, and these handles are fairly comfortable. They're not padded or anything, but they're substantial enough. They are held together by this nice, this nice little snapping strap. It doesn't come off. It can slide out of the way if you really wanted it to, but it is really, I think, the way to go if you're going to be using the carry handles, because it just keeps them together. It's really nice. Now, taking a look at the back here, we have the shoulder straps, which are minimally padded. They're padded enough. Again, you're not going to be hiking with this bag. You're not going to be using it for a long time, and so it doesn't have to be super duper comfortable. And they are definitely prioritizing the security features over comfort with this bag, which is fine. I am noticing now there's a little bit of tearing here on the shoulder strap, so who knows how long this will be holding up, because it's only been 3 weeks and there's a little bit of a rip there. But so something to keep in mind, and maybe this is not, maybe the Econo material, time will tell if it will continue to hold up well. I didn't notice any other issues anywhere else on the bag. So hopefully that's maybe just a one-off. You can also, this has the luggage pass-through strap. was very easy to slide onto some rolling luggage, even when packed, no big deal. It's really thick strap, and it's lightly padded, so it does add to the padding of the bag, but it still doesn't change the fact that if you've got something hard in here, you got your laptop in here, you're gonna kind of feel it when you're carrying this around. We have two very nice water bottle holders here. They can hold really wide mouth bottles, so like you could bring your lunch here if you want, put your soup in a thermos and bring it, and also have a drink in the other side. Now, what I like is they have this nice elastic at the top, and it is holding it in. You can dump this baby upside down. They don't fall out, which is something that I've not seen in a lot of bags that I've tested, at least. So that's pretty nice. Now also, before we go inside, the straps can be adjusted they have like a built-in strap keeper here. And you just slide this down and it holds them all in place. So it's all one continuous loop, which is nice because you don't have extra strapping, flopping around. That's really nice feature. Now the only thing that makes it not quite as nice is if you are a smaller person like I am, I could have used another inch of being able to tighten this just for, to lift it up on my back. Personally, just another inch would have been great. But it's not that big of a deal. You can always use the carry handles. You can just throw it over one shoulder and it's comfortable enough. Now the other safety feature that's back here is they have this, the one strap is just permanently attached, but the other strap has this hook that has a lock, like you can see, I can't do it until I turn the lock, and then I can unhook it. And it's meant to go around like, I don't know, a chair, a fixed object, a table leg, something like that. So if you're out and about and you're having dinner and you want to set this down, but you don't want to keep your leg next to the bag to make sure it's always there, you just hook this onto your chair, hook this onto the table leg, lock it up, and then nobody can just grab it as they're passing on behind you, which I think is a useful feature as somebody who's always like, is my purse still there? Is my bag still there? It's kind of nice to know that it's still there because it's hooked on. So that's an interesting feature. Now that we've seen the outside, let's take a look inside. The front pocket here has a locking strap, which is easy enough to use because these zipper pulls are nice and big. So you can easily undo it and then redo it without not too much fuss. I've had other bags where that was a lot harder to do. Also, this zipper, Pacsafe says, is puncture proof. So somebody can't try to stick a knife in there, I guess, and rip it open. And before I take a look inside, sorry to backtrack a little bit, but there's very minimal branding on here. This little grommet here, that's one of the only places where you're gonna see it says Pacsafe. It says Pacsafe up here on one of the other locks. I'm not sure if you can see that there. It says Pacsafe on some of the zippers. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot of branding on this bag. Minimal look, I like it. But now, back to the front pocket. So you just slide this open and you get into a front pocket which has a little bit of organization. It opens U-shape and it's fairly deep, but it's not, you're not gonna put a ton of stuff in here, but still it's nice to put, your keys, your money, your phone, things that you wanna be grabbing on a regular basis rather quickly without having to dig into this whole locking mechanism that I'm going to show you in a minute. Now, inside the bag is a pocket with RFID protections to prevent scans and whatnot. This pocket doesn't have that, so if you were to put your credit cards or whatnot in there, maybe make sure they're in an RFID protected wallet. Maybe don't put your passport in here unless you're traveling through the airport and need it right away. Otherwise, things are going to be fairly protected because, again, this has the slash-proof material. Nobody's going to be able to just cut it open and run with your stuff. And you don't want to give up all convenience in the name of security, at least in my opinion. Security is very important, but you still have to be able to get into your stuff or it's not going to be worth it. So, yep, so we have these two pockets here. You can see they're big enough for just a few things that you might need. Other than that, minimal organization. All the lining is this nice lighter color. The contrast is very nice because then it makes it easy to see. So the bottom, if you needed to, you can sort of see everything that's in there. And this lining, like I had said before, is a recycled polyester. Now this bag is also available in non-recyclable materials. So, and that has a few more color options if you were looking at that. The recycled, I believe, comes in the black and a gray, whereas the non-recyclable materials are available in navy and burgundy, they call it Merlot, and a blush tan. So if you wanted a different color option and recyclable materials wasn't important to you, go for that. Now let's take a look inside and at the rest of the locking features. So this rhubar system slides open, which is a little difficult if you're wearing gloves. Keep that in mind. It's also a little more difficult if you're holding the bag. Actually, it's rather difficult if you're holding the bag to undo this because you'd almost have to like put it over and try to hold it up. It doesn't come out easily with one hand. It happens, but not easily. Then these zipper pulls at the top here, again with a little bit of Pacsafe branding, they interlock. They just slide together. So then if somebody's trying to unzip your bag, it just keeps on, they pull one and you can't get them apart. It doesn't allow access into the bag. Again, with the puncture-proof zipper, you'll see this nice, secure, sturdy, little chunky, but that's what you get if you want, something a little more secure. Zipper, and so if it's you unslide the pulls, and then into the bag. Now, this is a 17-liter bag. It's not huge. Basically, right here, what you see is what you get. The water bottles eat into the capacity of the bag some. So in this case, where I have the really fat, wide mouth bottle over here, you can kind of see, it eats into the capacity here. It's touching my book and my notebook. But you still have space for a couple of books, a notebook, and your laptop goes back here. This is a padded laptop sleeve, and they say it fits up to a 16-inch MacBook Pro. And I think specifying the brand is important here because I did try a 16-inch, much thicker PC model, and I couldn't get it in because it was too thick to be able to fit in here. This is basically almost exactly the width of a MacBook Pro. This is only a 13-inch MacBook. And you see there's not a whole lot of room for more. So, take that with a grain of salt when they say you could fit a 16-inch device. They do mean just the MacBook Pro because it's really thin, or another model that is also really thin. So a 16-inch device that's really thin can fit in there. Otherwise, the 13-inch fits pretty well, and you'd probably have room if you had a laptop case on top of it for a little more added protection. You'd probably still be able to get that in there. Anything much bigger isn't going to fit. This laptop sleeve has a zipper pocket attached, and this is where I put basically everything else. I put cords, I put AirPods, some toiletries, medicine, because as you can see, when this bag is all packed, it's really hard to find anything on the bottom of it. So it's easier just to put it in the pocket. Now, this is the RFID safe pocket, so it blocks unwanted scans of your documents, which is great. And if you are traveling with your passport or in an unsavory area where you're concerned about this, definitely, stick your important documents in here. Just realize that if you want to get at them very quickly, it's a little bit of finagling. Just something to be aware of. And I will show you a little more too about how this is to close back up. On the opposite side, we have two more just small pouches here for, your ID, some pens, a mouse. There isn't a ton of organization in this bag. It's just sort of, you gotta make things fit where it works for you. That's what I have found. You can fit, maybe a few more things down the side here, but it's gonna be hard to get at them without completely unpacking the bag while it's stuffed like this. Again, 17 liters. This is not a huge capacity, but it's big enough. It's big enough for a day pack. It's big enough for what we're gonna use it for. Now, when we go to zip this back up, the zippers overhang the frame here. It's got this nice frame that holds it open, which is great. Look how nice it stays open while you're trying to pack it. But when you go back to zip it, the frame kind of also holds it open and makes it difficult to zip it back up. So obviously if it's on a table, you can just sort of hold it and zip it back up, no big deal. If you are trying to do this while holding this, like maybe you have gone into the bag to get your wallet because you put it in the RFID safe pocket, and you're trying to zip it up, not on a flat surface, it is much harder. You gotta kind of use one hand to hold it together, hold the frame together, and then rest it on your leg like this. It's a lot more difficult to do. So if you can, it's better to set it on a table, on a flat surface of some sort in order to do it back up, especially if you're going to be finagling with all the locking mechanisms, which of course you are, because why else would you have bought this Citysafe anti-theft backpack if you didn't want all the safety features? So there you have it, the Pacsafe Citysafe CX anti-theft backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next video.